Well, it's getting closer and closer to that special little holiday, best one of the year. And if you don't like it, well, fine, you don't like it, but whatever. I'm not going to argue with you. But I figure on this part, we take a look at maybe one movie that I think is slightly underrated. We've discussed the horror villains that can be a toy, one that can be the dream figure. How about let's go a little metal? Let's take a look at the big red machine. Feel the red machine, you stupid son of a. What exactly defines a horror movie villain? Is he man? Does he always have to be man? Maybe he can be toy, as we've seen. He can also be the aspect of man's best friend. Hell, Tom, there's nothing at all. But why not explore the concept of it being machine? Movies like The Car from 1977 by Elliot Silverstein and Maximum Overdrive by Stephen King in 1986 explore that aspect, more or less in vehicles, but I don't think one quite got it like Christine did. Starting our story in Detroit of 1957, we see the assembly line upon which Christine is born, and the reveal of the biggest red flag there's probably ever been being the only red car on the fucking assembly line. I mean, really? But sure, why not? Inspector guy comes over to have a look at her, and she gives them another red flag. How about those fingers? Yeah, I'll have those. Why the hell not? And our first victim, of course he's the first victim. He's black, automatic death sentence first. Goes over to have a look at Christine and just totally disrespects her by ashing his damn cigar. Who lets employees on an assembly line smoking inside brand new cars? Whatever. He dies justifiably. Flash forward to September 1978, we meet Dennis, who's driving the true star car of this movie, his Dodge Charger. And if you can't dodge it, ram it. No, you used that one last time. He's picking up his good friend Arnie, who is, well, clumsy, bumbling, the nerd, but will be the main focal point. They go to school talking about how they're excited to be seniors. Artie struggles to get his locker open, while Dennis struggles to, be a man and date this beautiful woman that she just keeps trying to give it to him. But his friend convinces him that, we need to go after the girl that dresses like a slut? What? We follow Arnie to shop class, where he is being bullied by not John Travolta with mutton chops, pork chops, whatever chops. I only assume they got this guy because John Travolta was busy doing Staying Alive around this time. Anyway, he takes it upon himself to destroy Arnie's lunch, I guess because Arnie didn't have any pork chops that would match his sideburns, or maybe they outmatched him. Pushes Arnie down, destroys his glasses, but good old Dennis is here to the rescue like a good friend, gives him a nice punch in the face, exposes him for the almost killer that he is to the teacher, and has him thrown out of school. Driving back home, Arnie somehow notices a car for sale off of the side of the road. How the hell did you spot that piece of trash? Anyway, he goes to check it out and is instantly fallen in love, and we meet Christine. Now, Dennis, of course, is not thrilled by his decision, but Arnie is solely in love, and Old Man Withers comes out and says, you know what, I could sell this thing if just with the help of you meddling kids. So, car is sold. Arnie goes home, tells his parents about the decision. They do not approve. Dennis still doesn't approve. So, he decides to take it on over to Darnell's garage. Darnell meets up with him and it comes off as a bit of an asshole, but it's his shop, his rules. But he was at least nice enough to mention that he knew a guy that had a car like that. He even killed himself in it. This arouses Dennis's suspicion. 3 weeks later, Arnie's making progress, even with his appearance. He's lost the glasses and proven himself to be worth being around the garage. Darnell even seems to warm up to him a little bit, offering him a chance to make a little extra cash. But Arnie's attitude just isn't changing around his car, it's changing at home. He tells his mom off, and Mom expresses her concerns to Dennis. So, out of curiosity, Dennis goes back and talks to the old man. The old man talks about how that car just took over his brother's soul. More suspicion arises, so he decides to go check out the car himself. Breaking into Darnell's garage, he tries to get in Christine, and she pulls her move. Turns on the radio to let him know that she knows he's there. Scares him off. Later at a football game, we see Dennis in action. The fresh young high school jock. But he's distracted as Christine pulls up. And he's distracted by Arnie, who is now with Lay. Remember her? The girl they said dressed like a slut. Still not getting that one. And also at this football soiree are the bullies that just have nothing better to do. They seem uninterested enough, but school spirit, I guess. They're obviously jealous, so they hatch a plan. Their plan should have been to take out the true horror of this movie, cultural appropriation by the school's mascot. Meanwhile, Arnie and Lee share a kiss that distracts Dennis for whatever reason, takes his attention away at the wrong time, and puts him flat on his back. And looks like Christine looks upon an approval, so he's out for the count. So Lee and Arnie decide to take up a movie, and I'm sorry, I just don't understand how these two are together. I mean, Dennis was even trying to get at her, and she just gave him the cold shoulder. I mean, come on, the hot young jock, but she'd rather have the former nerdy boy. Whatever, love is blind. They're getting hot and heavy in the car, and she is pulling the ultimate cock tease and cock block, and she's out. This enrages our, well, as we learned earlier, he's trying to get laid before high school's over. Goes to have a talk with her. She's upset. He spends too much time with that car. He angrily disapproves. They go back to the car, and Christine lets her know that she knows she's there and shows her how much she disapproves of her. Lee starts to choke from a burger that she took a bite of, but maybe Christine had something to do with it also, and Arnie looks on in horror as he was hoping that wasn't the one thing she'd be choking on that night. Another patron comes to the rescue, and he takes her on home. She expresses her disapproval of Christine, and he just doesn't want to hear it. He's too bonded with the car. Goes back. Christine expresses her disapproval, but they make up and go back to the garage. While entering the garage, the good old bully squad sneaks in and decide to have a little fun with Christine. So they do the only reasonable thing to do when you're jealous of somebody you're stronger and superior than. They destroy Christine. But Christine lets them know she knows they're there too. But Fat Bully says, turn off the radio. The next day, they make up, and Arnie needs to go grab his wallet out of Christine, and they go in, and look at her, just dressed like a slut. But coming around the corner, poor Arnie sees the truest horror he could see. His poor car, destroyed, mangled mess, all that hard work gone. Lee shows her sympathies, but Arnie, taken over by rage, just lashes out at her. He goes home. Parents act like they're concerned, but he has no care for their sympathy because all he wanted was to keep the car there and lets his dad know how he truly feels about their ways. Sad and depressed, Arnie makes the vow to Christine that he's going to put her back together and they're going to do it as a team. And this is when Christine decides to reveal her little secret to him and makes a believer out of him as they finally unite as one kindred spirit, and she transforms herself right before his eyes. Arnie looks on in approval, and now it's time for some sweet old revenge. First item on the list is old Fat Bully, who tore up those beautiful seats. He's getting out of the truck because probably he's giving this truck driver a little gratification for the ride, but heads on down the street and notices something quite a familiar sight and wonders if that yep, it is. Time to run. And through the alley he goes into a loading dock where he feels he's cornered but thinks he's safe. And, well, Christine says, not sure what kind of loading dock this is, but if it's for an 18-wheeler, Christine is a wide motherfucker. The trailer on a rig is over 90 inches.
Now that's what I call a tight squeeze. Never mind.
She puts on a smoke show and then puts on the squeeze. Arnie goes to visit Dennis in the hospital for some Thanksgiving time, and Dennis is quite worried about how well Arnie is taking the bully being found dead. Leaving school, Arnie is confronted by the police, who are doing a follow-up investigation on him and his report of the vandalism to Christine, and pulls a couple rope-a-dope words and sentences and phrases that try to get something out of him. Suspicion arises in his eyes. Arnie, not amused. Later on, leaving a liquor store, we catch up with Vincent Vega and another bully, and they're off to go do whatever bullies do, but somebody's following them. Danny Zuko takes notice, and other bully thinks he's tough guy and cusses out the person, but it's Christine, and she says, "I'm tougher." They pull into a service station where, well, another bully is at. John Gotti jumps out the car to see who this is, and he can't believe his eyes. It's Christine. And Christine decides to go give his car a little smooch with her front grille. Michael can't believe his eyes, and Christine can't believe she didn't do enough damage, so she goes back in for more. Liquid spill, fires start, and explosions happen. And Christine, the little fireball she is not done. She's thirsty for more. On her road to redemption, she chases Goldmember down the highway. Why is he running down the road? Man, you better zig and zag, man. Get out of here. You see that flaming ball of fire behind you? Yeah, it's coming for you. But he pays no mind, keeps doing the stupid thing, and the boy with the plastic bubbles legacy comes to an end in a fiery heap on the road. Christine returns to the garage to get some rest, but Darnell is there doing some late night work, notices the car, and finds it a little suspicious because Arnie is using his car. So he goes to investigate, gets his trusty gun, and goes to check on Arnie's car. Seems like something out of a sign of respect, or maybe he just doesn't want an intruder in his garage, but opens the door to find nothing. Now for some reason, he gets in the car, don't know why, and Christine said, "Well, I was going to give you a chance, but now you know my dirty little secret," and decides to give him a little hug of endearment. Arnie arrives for work the next morning and finds the police are there all over the car and asking him questions about his whereabouts because Christine was seen where the bullies were killed. He says, "I don't talk to police," and, well, Christine is completely restored. Why is she restored? Why didn't she fully restore herself when she was for sale initially? My guess, she needed the love of a soul to have her restoration powers. Just a thought. Dennis and Lee have a discussion about their concerns for Arnie and decide maybe they can do something to save his soul. But Arnie pulls up and him and Dennis go out for a nice little joyride. Arnie just wants to show him what the car can really do, and, well, that's about enough for Dennis. So he leaves him a nice little text message in Christine. Great, now you're on her shit list. Hatching their plan, they break into the garage and decide to wait on Arnie to show up because they know he's gonna be there with Christine. Plan's kind of sloppy, like, yeah, let's get a bulldozer. Yeah, sure. The high school jock, pretty boy, he knows how to operate a bulldozer and he does it quite efficiently. Whatever. Foiling their plan, Christine is hiding in the shadows and decides to take her revenge and end these two once and for all. Part of the sloppiness of their plan, though, was for Lee to run to the office and, well, it's locked. How could you miss that little minor detail? Christine takes her opportunity to strike, misses, and this is when we see the pivotal moment to where Arnie and Christine have become one kindred spirit. And there's no turning back now. But with a failed attempt, Arnie crashes through the windshield of Christine and is killed by her. And she feels sad. And now she's mad. Revenge is hers. But Mr. Football Player, who, well, I guess since you've been hospitalized, you should take up that career in construction, gets the best of Christine, crumples her. Oh, what a waste of such a beautiful car. But the day is theirs. Christine is finally silenced. As they look at her remains, we get one last scare of the radio that lets them know that she is there. And is it? Oh, no, it's just this guy. But upon a closer look, could it be? Ooh, we get a tingle in the grill. Maybe this story isn't over quite yet.
Underrated, maybe, forgotten, it never will be. I think mainly because this movie holds a special place with me is because I had a Chrysler back in high school, old school, 83 New Yorker, and she too was red, and I added some white accents inspired by this movie because I liked it so much. Even named her Christine, nicknamed the Big Red Machine, so that just naturally fell in place. But The movie I do like about it, how John Carpenter and Stephen King were able to come together and make this happen. Give us a step above of what was done with Maximum Overdrive, a universally hated movie. Stephen King. That was the first one he directed, but it seems like his horror movies work out better when somebody else is in the driver's seat. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? But this movie, it's always going to be a classic, and they're even talking about a remake. Yeah, I heard that the other day. Look here, Hollywood. I know you're out of ideas. Halloween Kills? Yeah, you're definitely out of fucking ideas, and I'm touching that one next. That's going to be the last one in this series. But leave classics alone, okay? Just leave Christine alone. She's fine. She's doing just well without you. If you agree with me, thank you. You don't, it's all good. Click like and subscribe. I don't say shit like that. But join me. Join me next time, man. We're gonna take a look at my favorite Halloween movie, and hopefully I can have the video out sooner. So y'all stick with me, man. Love all y'all, man.